I have a friend with whom I walk on occasions, and I remember being in the countryside with him once, and we were looking out over the rolling hills of Hertfordshire and the beautiful trees and all the glorious countryside. And I said, "Isn't that wonderful?" And he said, we could have a motorway there, and we could have a multi-story car park over there, and we could cover that with concrete and put up some blocks of flats, and then it would really be wonderful." He was, of course, joking. But it makes the point that different people have different concepts of what is beautiful or good. Isaiah talks of a voice proclaiming the way of the Lord, flattening the mountains, filling the valleys, producing level ground. Well, to me, as a hill walker, this sounds absolutely terrible. Although, of course, there is an element of exaggeration in what's being said. It's really about making a road that the Lord can easily travel on. But the point remains, how do you get everyone to agree on something, even when it's in their own best interests? Well, then Isaiah adds his own reservations. It's all very well saying, "Cry out," which is what the Lord said to him, but what shall I say? People are fickle, he says. People are like grass. They have no constancy. Whereas God is constant, his word everlasting, but people are fickle. What can I say to them? How can there be a connection between God and humanity? Well, against this background of doubt and uncertainty, this message is given to Isaiah to give to his people. God will come with justice, comfort, and solace, and will protect his people as a shepherd does his sheep. Well, Mark's gospel begins with this image of a messenger, a prophet, bringing the unlikely news that God is coming. A message so unbelievable that it requires the messenger to be, well, somewhat eccentric, with camel hair for clothing, eating wild locusts and honey, living out in the desert. He must have been quite a figure to behold. And to make an impact, to get people's attention, maybe that is what needs to be done. Well, our world today seems as much in need of this message as ever it did. You would have thought that the amazing advances in science and medicine, agriculture, technology, social care, etc., that we have seen in the past relatively few decades would make people more comfortable and happy. Yet look at what can be done with the most powerful and affluent nation on earth in the space of 4 years when you really try. It's now racked with hatred and mistrust, and there are 2 divided nations within that country on an epic scale. If C.S. Lewis were alive now, I'm sure he would invent a new talented junior devil to take credit for what had gone on there, and he would be a rising star. What to do? One is inclined to feel like giving up. Is Isaiah not right to say the people are like grass? They're fickle. So what's the point? And I'm reminded of when once I had a garden that was moderately successful. People who've seen my garden will find that comment humorous. It was a very small garden. It was about the size of this space here. And it was laid entirely to roses. I inherited it, I have to confess. And I read a book about it, and I did what it said. I took all the weeds out, I covered it with horse manure, and the roses I pruned back viciously in the autumn. And it was a great success. And buoyed up with its success, I thought, well, I'm going to be adventurous. I'm going to plant some bulbs. So I bought some bulbs, I cleared out the weeds, I put the bulbs in, I told them what they had to do, I watered them and all the rest of it. And of the 47 or so bulbs that Tesco said were in the packet, not one came up. The weeds, however, were back the next week. Those of you who are gardeners, or farmers, or teachers for that matter, or parents will know that the work continues. To get the crop requires continual work. You can't have the harvest unless you planted the seed and looked after it and weeded and dug and all the rest of it. And it is the same for humanity. The work of saving us did not stop at the birth or the death or the resurrection of Christ. It continues, which is why Isaiah's message, "Your God is coming," is as vital now as it was then.